Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design here today, and today's Human Design weather is all about the gate 60, which I like to call evolution and growth. Okay, so we've got the sun in gate 60. We've got it started on right after midnight on January 17th. That's GMT time. It goes until January 22nd, and then at that point we'll move into gate 41, which is the beginning of the Human Design New Year. And I'll be talking about that in a few days. So the Earth is in gate 56, which is the storyteller or curiosity. The 56 is right here, comes off the top of the throat, and the 60 is down here, it comes off the top of the root. So we've got two, different parts of the body here, one off the throat and one off the root. And this week we start with we start and end with the 5710 defined. That's this one over here from the spleen up to the G center. And that's because the gate 11 is in Mars, and then it goes, and it started out in 10, in the gate 10, and then it goes retrograde and it goes back to 10. And so we begin and start with the 5710, and then in the middle few days, we've got this 1156 defined from the ajna to the head. So a few different energies going on, but basically those probably don't affect you as much as the sun and the earth will, if any of that got connected up for you. So and the only planet that is retrograde right now is Uranus. So the gate 60 is called in the I Ching limitation or acceptance, and it's the acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence. So basically, it's like starting out at nothing and moving forward. And so that's why I like to call it growth or evolution, right? We start from, babies or nothing, or needing to learn a lot of lessons in life, and then we move on. In the incarnation crosses this week, it's the cross of laws, limitation, and distraction. And in quantum human design, we call it conservation. And the gate 56 is the storyteller or curiosity. In the I Ching, the original I Ching, it's called the wanderer or stimulation. It's basically seeking, right? Wanting to find. And we wander to find, and we're curious and we find, and we get stimulated and we find. So it's basically that curiosity that spurs us forward. So they say it's stability through movement, the perpetuation of continuity through the linking of short-term activity, right? So we are, when we're out and about, when we're looking for new things, when we're having a new adventure, a new class, a new relationship, we're learning, right? And this is where the curiosity comes in. So it's the kind of energy that has a lot of people actually looking for more answers, more, just finding more things out. In the gene keys, it's called distraction is the shadow, enrichment is the gift, and intoxication is the CD. And in quantum human design, we call it expansion. And so the shadow in the gene key 60 is limitation, as I mentioned. The gift is realism, and the CD is justice. So again, it's limitation, moving up to realism, moving up to justice. And you can see how the justice would be the highest form or the most ephemeral of the things that we can achieve. Because if you look around, there's some justice and then there's some not. So we're always seeking this justice and growing toward justice, right? In the graphic, he says every pause is a field of transformation, and that's because we can evolve, we can grow when we stop to pause, when we stop, you know, allowing our mind to dictate what's going on and allow either our heart or our root or the stimulation of the whatever we're being attracted to and listening to our strategy basically so that we can move forward in a way that's correct for us, right? So he also says the 60th shadow is the greatest critic of magic. Richard Rudd's idea, or at least what he puts forward in his book, is that the magic is when you allow the flow, right? So the magic comes when you allow the growth to proceed unimpeded, to just naturally occur, to basically follow the breadcrumbs and figure out where your strategy takes you so that you can grow into the you're supposed to be. He also says the only thing needed for magic to occur is some form of a structure and an open mind. And really that's the the formula for magic, according to Richard Rudd. You need some type of structure. So again, whether it's a class or a course you're taking or a relationship you're in, or something that allows for some sort of very informal structure, that it doesn't have to be a formal structure like religion or economic model, or some kind of geometric structure, like a house, but needs a little structure and then an open mind to move forward. And he also says evolution is thwarted by this single force, the shadow of limitation. The shadow being that we can't move forward. We're limited. We're not available. We're not ready. We're not in a space where we can grow. And that's the limitation. That's the lack. That's the feeling of the shadow that we're not enough, basically, that we can't achieve what we really want to achieve. And so that limitation is what holds us back. And that's why I like to call it growth and evolution. Because it is the CD of justice, I included this quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, who we celebrated this week as the holiday on Monday. He said, "We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity." And that's probably more true today than it ever has been. We had a number of birthdays this week, including the now departed Betty White, Kevin Costner, Michelle Obama, Dolly Parton, who we've talked about before, Gina Davis, Susan Sontag, Benjamin Franklin. You can imagine how with all of the philosophies and processes and policies that he put forward during his life, he was about growth, and he was about evolution, and he was about making things move toward justice. Whether it's a fire department or a post office or a university, he was all about helping as many people as possible for the greater good. And that's really the crux of this gate. And so I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope your week is filled with growth and evolution, and that you find little ways, little tiny ways to grow and evolve and see how the magic might take you there. So take care and have a great week. Be well.